Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brendan with Evoke Bike. So, I wanted to run through Gran Fondo Nationals and talk about this event. Number one, why Patrick and I decided to do this. Number two, what the event was like, because as somebody commented on Instagram, so they said, so was this kind of like an enduro road race? I was like, that's actually exactly what it is. And if you don't know what enduro is, it's in mountain biking where there's timed sections, and then you're not racing the entire course for an overall time. It's just the time between each section. So you're kind of like chilling out and stuff between those time segments. And then we'll talk about the power file and the efforts. And really, this started as, for a lot of you know, I just moved to Blowing Rock, North Carolina in June. As earlier than expected, I was supposed to be moving out here in the fall. Life things just accelerated this, and a friend of mine from New Jersey, Lauren, who some of you know as Lala, the human, not the dog, said, hey, I'm going to be in Asheville for this conference. You're going to happen to be around. And I looked at the date, and I was like, is there a Gran Fondo there then? And so I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, there's this Gran Fondo I'm going to do. Then like I'll come and do this race. And I had never done a timed segment one like this before. All the Gran Fondos I've done have been start to finish. And then we realized, I said to Patrick, I'm like, hey, this is Gran Fondo Nationals. And we both said, there's a Nationals for Gran Fondos now? Looked into it more, and my buddy Owen Schott won this. And so I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, so how does this all break down? And so let's talk about the race. Knowing that I am 82 kgs, I did not have any plans of winning this thing when talking to Owen. And he said, well, you got to kind of game it if you want to win. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, look at the first segment. On this one, he had mentioned he lost time because he was in a group that didn't go as fast as a group that had more people in it. So even though Owen can climb like a beast and he still won, he lost, I think, a minute, he maybe told me, here. So this is almost 100 miles. It's almost 9,000 feet of climbing. That's going to be a solid day. It's going to be over 5 hours. Having a friend there, my husband Chris was there. Patrick brought his wife and son there. So I said to Patrick, I'm like, listen, man, it would be really cool to win this, but I don't want to be out there all day long. And I don't know, like the gaming thing of like, okay, you get through a segment, you stop at an aid station, then you figure out who you roll with, so you're super fast for the next one, then you replan again and go. I was like, dude, let's just rip this thing and have a fun ride. And if the results, fall in our benefit, then great. Super wet start, extremely wet start, and rain is flying everywhere. We hit one of these first little, just like climbing over something, and I'm like, dude, we're endurance pacing this thing in the group. Like, this is going to take forever. Let's see how this first segment goes, maybe how the second one goes. First segment, this is the elevation. You kind of roll up this climb, and then it's a false flat, and then there's a lot of people sprinting. And I smashed it hard, and then we came over the hill, and I smashed it again, and we were rolling in a group. And I was actually surprised. There was a lot of people in this group, like really fighting for position and trying to get a good time on the first one, which is the whole point of this. I saw two guys go to sprint, and they immediately clanged bars, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be up in this. It's pretty wet. I'm looking around. I don't know a lot of these people. Maybe I just sit back a little bit. As I'm thinking that, a couple people come flying up over the yellow line, and like people just go ham for the sprint, which was kind of right towards an intersection. Didn't seem the safest. I really love this event. That would be my only quip if I remember it correctly. Maybe it was the rain fogging my memory. But I ended up sitting back and like rolling through, and maybe I should have just been more aggressive had I known how this was going to go down. But I ended up losing 30 seconds. I'm in 45th, 30 seconds down from first place on the first one. Didn't know that, whatever. We come across this, and we hit this little climb, And I told Patrick, I'm like, yo, dude, this is taking too long. I'm going to just start riding. So I didn't attack, but I rolled off the front. And if we take a quick look, so this is the first section right here, very quickly. Let's see where section 2 is. So it's right here. I just start to roll. And you can see it's nothing crazy, just like threshold up over this climb. 5 people come with me. And those 5 were myself, Patrick, Michael Bissett. God, what was this dude? I want to say Walter, and that wasn't his name. His name was Ralph. Ralph and Aaron. So Michael Bissett, who's a super strong climber, luckily not in my age group. He was in Patrick's group. So there's under 23, then 24 to 34, then 35 to 44, which is what I'm in, and then keep going like that. So Michael's like, I'm going to wait for the group. I don't know if this is smart to go on our own. Patrick and I are like, yo, we're just going to roll. And it was still wet. And Ralph and Aaron were like, yeah, let's just do this thing. So the 4 of us rolled. We had an awesome ride. The course was super fun. We just decided to rip these as best we could. And the T2 segment ended up pretty good for me. I was only 17 seconds down from Sean Gardner. So this is another reason why we came. There were hitters here who can climb. I'm going to be positive. I would have had to have a ridiculous day, and Sean would have to have a not good day. And to be honest, that's not how you want to win a race. You want to beat somebody at their best. When there's climbing involved, 2 main climbs, I can't beat Sean Gardner. I don't even think I can beat Michael Bissett. I don't know this guy, Alex. We'll talk about the overall results where I came in. I definitely did not win. Liam Flanagan, I'm not going to beat him climbing. He lives over near Asheville now, but he's 21, races for Kelly Benefits, and he's got some sick KOMs here. So, bummer to see him leave the area. Was hoping to get some rides in. So anyways, but section 2, damn, I was super stoked with how that went. I did 1930 at 409 watts and paced it well with these guys. We were pulling through the flat portions, and when we hit that climb, just unloaded. Faded a little bit, but was really happy with how that ride went. Especially, I rode 100, I forget what the ride was 2 days before, 103 miles, 290 TSS. I did have Saturday off, walked a lot. So it was a good rip. We continue on, and we're thinking this third section, we need to get, it's long, it's 7 point something miles. Let's see, section 3, 7.2 miles. We're like, we got to be aero, and the pulls just have to be hard. Granted, it didn't come until almost mile 70, so everybody wasn't fresh. And I felt like we were going fast, but nowhere near as fast as like 20 guys could go if everyone was committed. So then we're like, maybe that will screw things up for that group, because the climb is towards the end of T3. Maybe we can just, if we all pull full on and then just crush this little climb, we'll be good. This is deceiving. We actually kept waiting for the climb to come. It's not very climby. And maybe the other group thought that too. We won. We came in first for that section. Now, they had some ridiculous preem prizes. Sean Gardner won all of them. Sadly, number 3 did not have a prize. Number 2 and number 4 did. I was like, damn. But whatever. But yeah, we blasted them by 10 seconds. And let's see. Yeah, it was a big group because Sean wasn't even in it. So that group had a ton of people. Holy crap. It's hard to tell is this really a group of 50 people? It's a lot of small groups. I mean, there's never a big gap. Like, I'd be curious, were they all still together for the third segment? That would be shocking to me. So section 3, we ripped it, 1642. You can see us pace line here. This is how you ride the pace line. Blast it and then cover. Blast it and cover. Blast and cover. When I say cover, get behind the people you're riding with. And then unleashed at the very end. It was just like a hard roller. It was super fun. But yeah, we motored. Average 25.5, max 34.6. And so we felt good about that. Was looking forward to the last climb. Last climb was not going to be easy. Definitely the toughest one. And we just decided, we stopped at the aid station. I think my biggest mistake, which I'm going to the Boone Gran Fondo August 1st, because that's right by my house. Last big ride before Masters Nationals. Number one, I'm super pumped for Masters Nationals. Number two, I've never been to New Mexico. I'm really excited for this trip. And shout out to the Evoke community that's going out there. And everybody else, hopefully we get to meet up and say what's up. This climb was going to be a bear. And I was really looking forward to it because you're 80 miles in. I rode 10 miles to the race. It's almost at a mile. It's late in the day. We rolled up to it. In section 4, I did 24:30 at 4:03 and rode with the guys. At this point, kind of was setting the pace and then asked some dudes to pull through. And this was when people kind of pulled through, and then I just started hitting it. Excuse me. I really felt good during this portion of the ride in terms of climbing. And I never really, Patrick made a comment to me that made me feel really good. He was like, dude, it seemed like you would recover and you were ready to hit it again. And I was able to get away from Patrick, which Patrick, as one of my best friends, my teammate, the person that runs Evoke with me, and the 3 other guys, like, he's one of my biggest competitors just because I care so much about the dude. Like, we know each other. We know how each other rides. He's super freaking strong. To be able to get away from Patrick, like, that meant a lot. And I mean that as the biggest compliment to him. Like, he motivates me so much to try and get better each day. Hopefully I motivate him as well. And, I think we all know that feeling when you ride away from someone that you don't know. You're like, great, I feel good, I'm strong. When you can ride away from somebody that you do know that could definitely ride away from you, there's definitely been the days when I haven't been able to keep up with him. It makes you feel good. And so, on a tangent, find a training buddy. Even though we don't live close to each other anymore, we still find ways to motivate each other. I think if you can have someone in your backyard that you can ride and train with, that is a gift. And if you have that, you should, I don't know if I like the word cherish, you should truly understand how amazing that is, that person, if you're close on the same ability, where some days you win, some days they win, some things they're better at you, some things they are better than you at, and vice versa, that's gold. I mean, I'm excited to see who I meet here in North Carolina, where our schedules and training and racing blend. And I'm hoping that, some people from the North Carolina area become part of the Evoke community, whether we race together. We're starting this community team where Evoke athletes are the ones I want to race with. I'm not going to do an elite team with Patrick next year. We're going to race together, but we're not going to be sponsoring a team of just elite Cat 1 cyclists. So I'm excited to see where the community goes. That's really my main goal in cycling right now, or one of them. So hitting that 4th one, it felt good. I mean, seeing these watts between 420 to 430, I'm super pumped about that. And when we look at the results, I'm going to take that as a small W to lose less than 2 minutes from Sean. Really, when I look at the top 5 guys, they got away 45 seconds faster than me. And then there's, me and 2 others right there. So a total of 10 of us lost, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I won't group him with us. 5 of us lost about 2 minutes from Sean. But I mean, Sean put a minute into the guy behind him. So it's pretty crazy. Sean, you're a beast, dude. Congrats. And so that really brings us to the overall. Damn. That first segment really bit me in the butt. So I was close. Sean beat everybody at minute and 22. Kudos, dude. That's a big gap, I think. And these 2 guys were super close. Liam was almost on the podium there. Michael Bissett, who's a ripper from down the road in North Carolina. And then I won my Masters division. So, I think if I go back and do this again, definitely need to be on my A game for the initial segments. And, riding with a big group of people, I think there were pluses and minuses. We did okay. We won this one. We weren't that far off on the second one. And then the climb is just, the one that really splits everybody up. So I think the gaming is not as important, because if you just ride with people who are dedicated to putting in the work and crushing it to the climbs, and then you got to have that ability to do some work over FTP on the climb. So I think this was a really fun event. I really enjoy the starting together aspect. A lot of people talk about the gravel community, and I think gravel is a cool community, but sometimes people talk about the gravel community as if the road community isn't awesome also. And there are things about road that, this elitist thing of, sometimes Cat 1s are rude to people that are in lower categories, as if they didn't start in those lower categories also. I like these events. This event was super fun in Asheville. Our families had a good time. It was much more relaxed and a different style of event. I'm going to ride the one at Boone the same way. I'm going to hit the segments hard, but I actually need to get on the road to Albuquerque. So I'm just going to rip it and ride back to my house, get the car packed up, and hit the road and start driving west as far as I can get. I think there's a lot to be said for Gran Fondos. I think that I will continue to do them because I like them. They're fun. And I posted a picture on Instagram of Patrick and I smiling as we were riding back. The sun was out. We were going to get food and pizza and see our family. And he just has this huge smile on his face, and I'm smiling. I was just like, man, this feels really good. That's why I started riding, not for accolades. And I definitely did not think I'd be starting a business around this. But that's what our business is, sharing our experience, sharing all types of cycling experience. And that's another reason why I'm so pumped about Josh's new series about cyclocross. None of the other guys, we don't really race it. And it's a discipline that people have a ton of questions online, because there's not a lot of information out there, or there's information behind a paywall, which I understand if that's how people want to run their business. No qualms about that at all. Not knocking people who do that. I just think that we can put out a lot of free information and still make a living doing it. For different reasons why. So if you do race cross or gravel or stuff, check out Josh's series. It's going to be sick. All right. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope this motivates you to try out a Gran Fondo, and maybe we all meet up at Gran Fondo Nationals next year. Let me know in the comments below if you've done an enduro road event like this, how it went for you, what you loved about it, what you didn't like about it. I'd like to hear that too. And we'll talk to you soon. See ya.